The Epic to Virago. The distant train horn marked the time of day, 9:47 a.m., as well as tipped the hat to the newly burgeoning mountain bluebirds that lined the cow pasture on the other side of the empty ditch. I started calling myself Virago 4 days before my 29th birthday. I have a thing for all birthdays, especially my own. Call it what you will, but I celebrate under the pas de deux affront the stars. I secretly have been preparing for this birthday all my life. I only say that because the times have bloomed into their most uncertain in one sleep, and yet I feel the most calm as the eye of the storm lays upon my head. When I say I've been preparing, it's not in dry goods or chicken scratch tick marks along jail cell walls, or in prayer or gun safety classes or yeast packets. It's realizing what I knew early on. I don't remember anything earlier than 5 years old, except my family therapist's leather couches and paper doll cutouts to activate scenarios that I felt were unhelpful and drab. I may have been lost in time and space, but am now on my journey to find my epic to Virago. I imagine it now with everything I was told was not. Therein lies the key to what will be me. We chose Delilah. Actually, scratch that. She chose us. They always do. Someone else raised her and trained her through times I so wished I'd seen. When they chose her name, were they jamming plain white teas or reading the 16th chapter of Judges? Perhaps the Grateful Dead rang clear along chain-link cages. Either way, she's part of it now. There was a time when all of my friends would gather along the tennis courts adjacent to our elementary school, and we'd search for fairies, the first coven. The first time since the early summers I'd felt alone was the July he left, and I needed to run away from all the arrows pointing inward. Somehow I thought and still think that new beginnings are what cleans the stains. I used to play baseball with my neighbors down the hill. I loved them truly as my own. We'd play as often as we could. I never considered what all of this meant and what it built. Lake Michigan is a huge part of this story, but only because my younger sister, not blood-related, and I almost died there. That could have been it, and yet we both survived riptide. My brother, who played viola, wouldn't let me in on those secrets. Another brother handed me what is now my life. So many times have I considered about paths, and this one came simply and is still heart-facing the new day. There were passionate words spoken and signaled as the music became more of a shadow. In other eyes, this grew something spiteful. I will not compare it to a common weed because I love them, especially thistles and bindweed. Instead, I will say, a small death, but one that is like winter to spring, that is lengthened some years and shortened in others, and the Farmer's Almanac will just skew its readers. I have written about it many times before, and neither today or ever will I do it justice. What struck in the moment we took our seats was two indefinite patterns colliding into something bigger. Some days it's better, some days it's worse, and in the duality of everything you and I are, there is freedom, and that will change the world. Inherently, every woman feels magic. There is always a fire-ridden belly that seeks to move mountains in a single instance. Some heed the call, some stir the pot, some call blasphemy in honor of the queen bee that feeds us all. It is clear most days, the tar and feathers left from the past, the mistakes ringing like a dinner bell, deafening and sure, the truths wiggling out of garbage heaps to suck the marrow from every old bone. Clear are the cards, time after time, hearkening back to the bell now rung by a hunchback, a slave to the tune. Clear is the gift held in sweaty palms, waiting decades to be revealed, to be tread on carefully, but in joy, in not feeding from the crumbs of self-loathing. The only plants I can mother are succulents. The reason should be clear, and this is how I will raise my future children. Every lesson she teaches me. It is never the other way around, even though my title says otherwise. I sit back occasionally when our fires only glow softly and smile at her future, for she cannot know that it is brighter than she'd ever guess. The second coven was built over years, as any good army should. I store my heart in theirs to see the lake that tried to drown me, and start again, bootstraps laced tight. Praise Virago.